Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Demon Guy 1216. I'm making my Infernity deck profile. I recently put up my Lightsworn Insector profile. Uh, that deck has been working out pretty good. I'm gonna show you my Infernities. This is like my real first archetype. My favorite, one of my favorite decks because it works well with my play style. Because no matter what deck I use, I never for some reason have a hand. So here it is. I've been running them since Launcher was at 3, and then I went to basic training. I came back out, and Launcher went down to 1, and that kind of surprised me. But here we go. Of course, start with the 3 Archfiends. That's, obvious part of the build. That's what you need to get the deck going. 3 Mirages, not 2. I just like the fact that I could have that third Mirage in there and, still be able to get something going. It also works out very well because people have stupid cards that like to, just put a little dent in your plan. So if they somehow stop that one Mirage, you still have 2 more left. And, if somebody's dueling you and they see it, like, oh, alright, I got rid of 1 Mirage, and you probably have 1 left. Oh no, fuck you, I have a third one in my deck. So, that's pretty good. 3 Necromancers, of course. Part of the whole deck loop thing. Now here's, these next 2 cards that are coming up are my own little push on the deck. The first one is an Infernity Destroyer. With Trish gone, you can't really single for 9s except for like Mistworm and stuff like that. But him with the Beetles, quick level 8s, and with that new synchro that came out, that's not technically an Infernity monster, but it is. The Purgatory Dragoon, he works very well with him. Make him real quick, and you have a 3,000 monster on the field that can negate 1 spell trap card per turn while you have no cards in your hand. And not even that, just get him on the field alone, 23 beat stick. And, with my deck build, I like to run Gachi Gachi in it. So he bumps up to 27. He attacks, and when he destroys a monster, he burns your opponent for 1,600 life points. That's a lot. I feel he does a lot in this deck. I used to main deck him when the deck first came out. I took him out, and then I'm throwing him back in just to see how it works. I'll probably take him to my next regionals. And Infernity Guard. This is also like one of my own personal favorites. I've been running this card since it came out, and I threw in this Infernity deck, and I kept in this Infernity deck since forever. And it works great. Can't be destroyed by anything as long as you have no cards in your hand. And I can't tell you how well that works out against those Dino Rabbits, against Wind-Ups, against everything. And actually, this deck is probably the best deck to run against Wind-Ups. We have no hand. Fuck their little loop. And then you set him, and what they're going to do, they can't destroy him with nothing. Armageddon Knight, whatever. And it's not like they really run a BLS, so you're safe. Alright, so next up is Infernity Avenger. Great tuner. Monster, if your side field gets destroyed, but have no cards in hand, he comes back as a fucking, as a level of that monster. And it's also pretty good, especially if like an Exceed of yours gets destroyed, you can bring him out, and he'll just be a level 1. I still run 3 Beetles. I don't care Trish is gone. I mean, I ran this deck even before we even got Trish. So 2 Mistworms is just as good as 1 Trish. So I like it. If not, I still use them to go in the Gachi Gachi and have some fun. 2 Street Patrollers. Also not a bad card. It's very good for this deck. It does what it needs to do. I don't know, I think 2 might be a little too much sometimes, but it's helped me out a lot more than it has hurt me. So, and then finally 1 Dark Grepher. Again, a great card. And now because I threw my Destroyer back in here, I can special summon him by ditching Destroyer, and I'll still get his effect to ditch a card and ditch one from my deck. So it works out pretty well. But to see how it works up again, I'll probably take it this Saturday to my locals and see how it works out. If it does good, I'll take my Infernities back to regionals. I mean, I won them to regionals before. I haven't been I didn't do top or anything, but I went X and 3, X and 4, out of 9 games. Not bad. I'll take that any day. Now the one going to Magic's 1 Launcher, of course. A Monster Reborn, a Book of Moon, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. Just little basics. Heavy Storm. I know Infernity is back row heavy, but I'd rather get rid of my opponent's back row so I can go off. Because Infernities don't go off, they lose, and that's basically how the deck works. So they stop you from going off. You're basically gonna lose next turn unless you could top deck into something special. Your back row is fucking gorgeous. Allure of Darkness. I know some people don't like running Allure of Darkness Infernities. I do. It gives me an extra little draw power, and also minuses 1 for my hand, in my opinion. Because I'm running a lot of magic and traps in the deck. chances are I'm going to draw magic or traps or draw that mirage or something that I need to go in. And if you manage to, have no cards in hand, you use that, you draw 2 Archfiends. You just remove 1 Archfiend from play, special summon the other one, because you got no cards in hand when you drew him, and it goes off. Next up, 3 MSTs, again, Infernities, they have to go off to win. If they don't go off, they're goners. 1 for 1. A Foolish Burial. And now the trap cards are just 2 barriers, 3 is too much. If you're running 3 barriers in an Infernity deck, you're probably just a bad duelist overall. I mean, it's a very good card, don't get me wrong. But, unless you have a face-up attack position Infernity monster, the card's kind of like nothing. And then if you open with it and you can't really do anything else, it's kind of a bad card to have on the field because it would just be dead. But, 2 is enough. It does the work I need. Just putting 1 face down, your opponent gets scared. Just putting 2 is fine. Next up are 2 breaks in place of that other barrier. The 2 breaks are great. You can remove any Infernity card, so you can remove a monster, magic, or trap that has Infernity in its name and destroy 1 card on your opponent's side of the field. Great card. And then they'll also set you up for those Leviar plays if you need to. I run 3 Infernos. I just like running 3. Most people like running 2. I like the 3rd. It helps me make my deck more consistent than usual. And, it's just great. You set it, you wait a turn, you draw, see what you draw, and then you activate Inferno, send whatever you need to a graveyard, and then you just go off. Or, your opponent says MST, you be like, whatever, we're just Inferno, send my shit to the graveyard, and we're good to go. Alright, next up is a Solemn Judgment. I used to run a Judgment and a Warning. I just took out the Warning recently, to see how the deck works without it. I feel like now with these type of decks that are out, Warning is a little too slow if you don't go first. So, I'd rather have the Judgment said to stop everything instead of just or the Judgment and a Warning. I'd rather help conserve my life points instead of wasting. A Mirror Force. 1 D Prison. D Prison's a great card. It stops a lot. Stops the Ryos or, Stardusts. I mean, I know nobody really uses Stardust anymore, but, it stops. It does what it has to do. 1 Torrential. I'm probably going to throw in a second one. I'll see. I've got to make room for it somewhere. We'll see what happens. 2 Call the Haunteds. Not 3, but 2. I just threw in the extra one, and it does wonders. It makes me feel a lot more secure. Set the calls. I have an Archfiend in the graveyard. Call the Haunted, their Archfiend. Or my opponent changed Monster Reborn. My opponent goes Monster Reborn, I chain call, and I just go off. And finally, last trap card is the Starlight Road. I am back row heavy a lot. Not many people really expect a Starlight Road, so to speak, but I guess people are going to start running it now because Torrential's that too. But, Starlight Road, it does a lot. It basically negates 2 destructions. Stop that first Dark Hole or, Heavy Storm or whatever. And then you ping out a Stardust, and you have a Stardust with a free negation. That's the deck. I'll show you the side deck. I don't really have to show you the extra deck because it's kind of, pretty much the same. 2 or 300 Eyes, a Doom Dragon, now a Purgatory Dragon, Mistworm. But I do run a Gachi and Hope in mine. It works out very well. Makes me feel, safe, whatever, at that minute. Alright, so extra deck these are the key players in my extra deck. 2 Rykos. They do so much work, and they manage to, they beaten so many decks for me. They beaten, Agents. They beaten, Hams and everything. Pop that Shadow and Prison Mirror, pop that Shin or Beast, and I just go off. And then I also get really good mills with it, so it sets up my launcher and my Mirage pretty well with them. And next up is a Cyber Dragon, just for those pesky Thunder King siders or whatever, those assholes. It's whatever. Soul Release. Get rid of those Light Sworns or, stupid little things, dueling windups or something, get rid of all that shit. All in graveyard, it's annoying. Alright, next up, it's an odd card, but works out very well. It's card destruction. Because one thing that really, really bugs the shit out of this deck is a Maxi. You're about to go off, your opponent says Maxi, they're going to draw like 50 fucking cards. But you side in this card destruction, and you set it, you go off, and your opponent keeps on drawing and drawing and drawing. Then you go card destruction, they just lost a duel. I managed to make a kid draw 30 cards out of his deck with my Infernities, or like something like that. He had like 20 cards in his hand. I said card destruction, and I thrashed him. Not to mention he was a Light Sworn player. So it was even worse because he already milled most of the deck away. It was great. You know, I beat one agent deck with this. I mean, I didn't win the whole thing. I didn't win the set, but you know, he sided in that was max C's. I said card destruction, and he just lost. Actually, the creature swaps. It's also kind of an odd card, but you know, most of my guys are weak to begin with, so I just creature swap them. Take my opponent's stronger monsters like the Hyperions or like BLSs, or you know, take a Judgment Dragon while at it. You know, it's a great card. Get rid of like a Necromancer or somebody. You know, 0 attack points. Good to go. Next up, 2 Light Imprisoned Mirrors. You know, great. I mean, the top 3 decks right now that are being run, those some Sectors, Wind-Ups, and Dino Rabbits. Don't really run lights, but you know, the random like Fairy Agents decks that throw around, or Light Sworns, it works out pretty well. 2 Dust Tornadoes. You know, again, people that want to play extra back rows, or you know, those Shadow Imprisoned Mirrors, and I can't get to my Reckless fast enough. It does the work. 2 Escape from Dark Dimensions. You know, bring back my Mirages or whatever. They can't be special from the graveyard, but they can be special somewhere from remove from play, and then you know, start going off again. And then I also cite in a Thought Ruler Archfiend. You know, for cards that target or whatever, bring him out. You know, I pay 1,000. You know, he also helps out, gives you more life points when he destroys monsters, just in case you have to go into overtime. Next up is, you know, I don't know why I have an Ancient Fairy in here. I'll probably take it out. But it's in here for fun, you know. Nice 3,000 defense. Use effect, special summon your Archfiend, and you know, go off, and you'll have a set field for next turn, and you can win. I think I might take it out, put in the Blackwing Dragon, because I did manage to lose to a Chain Burn deck, and it was stupid. And if I had a Blackwing Dragon, I definitely would have won. But you know, shit happens, and you forget these type of things. I used to main deck him, but then I took him out to make room for my extra 100-eyed dragons and Doom Dragons. But I'll probably take this out and put in the Blackwing Dragon for it, and you know, just in case I don't have to get stuck with those Chain Burn decks again, you know, because you do your little loop thing, and you bring out an Archfiend and a Necromancer, and they do that stupid Ojama card and basically have a shitty field, or you know, stuff like that. But you know, next time I learn, bring out the tuner first, but we'll see what happens. Oh, I also have a Chimera Tech in here. Using my other side deck right now, because I've been using my Lightsworn Infernity decks. I mean, my Lightsworn Inzektor decks. So let me know how you like the deck profile. You know, subscribe, comment, whatever. And check out Creator723. It's my cousin. He has some deck profiles up in duels. I'll hit you up later, YouTube.